You haven't done the dishes in 3 days. You've rescheduled the same task on your to-do list 5 times. You lie in bed scrolling instead of doing the thing you know would actually help you. And somewhere in your head, a voice keeps saying, "You're just lazy. Get it together." But what if that voice is wrong? What if what you're calling laziness is actually your mind running on empty? And no amount of discipline can fix a battery that's already at zero. Stay with this video, because by the end, you're going to know exactly which one it is and why your brain, not your character, might be the real reason you're stuck. Laziness and emotional exhaustion look identical from the outside. Both involve avoiding tasks, low motivation, procrastination. That's exactly why so many people misdiagnose themselves. But the difference is in what's underneath. Laziness is a lack of desire to act, even when you have the energy to. Emotional exhaustion is the opposite. You often still want to do the things, you still care, but your nervous system simply doesn't have the resources to execute them. Here's the test psychologists actually use. Laziness usually comes with indifference. Exhaustion comes with guilt. If you're lying there thinking, "I don't care," that's one thing. If you're lying there thinking, "I should be doing this, why can't I make myself move?" and it's eating at you, that's not laziness. That's a depleted nervous system sending you a very different message. The first major sign, you feel exhausted even on days you didn't physically do much. This confuses people because we're taught that tiredness should match effort. But emotional exhaustion isn't caused by physical output. It's caused by cognitive and emotional load. Every unresolved conversation you're replaying, every decision you're avoiding, every feeling you're suppressing, all of it runs quietly in the background of your mind, using up mental energy the same way apps running in the background drain a phone's battery, even when you're not actively using them. Biologically, this constant background processing keeps your body producing low, sustained levels of cortisol, your stress hormone. Unlike a short burst of stress that resolves, this chronic low-grade activation never gives your body a real chance to recover. So you wake up tired, spend the day tired, and go to bed no less tired than you started, even though on paper you did nothing. The second sign, things that used to be effortless, replying to a text, deciding what to eat, choosing what to wear, suddenly feel like they require a level of energy you don't have. This is a well-documented phenomenon called decision fatigue. Your brain has a limited daily capacity for decision-making, and when that capacity is already being consumed by emotional processing, grief, stress, unresolved conflict, anxiety, there's simply less left over for ordinary choices. This is why someone who is emotionally exhausted can seem functional in a crisis, but completely unable to answer, "What do you want for dinner?" It's not that the small decision is hard. It's that your decision-making reserve is already spent somewhere else you can't see. The third sign is subtler. Things that used to bring you joy don't quite land the same way anymore. Not because you don't like them, but because you feel a step removed from your own life, like you're watching it rather than living it. This is your nervous system's way of conserving energy. When your emotional resources run low for long enough, your brain starts dampening emotional responses across the board, not just the painful ones, but the good ones too. It's a protective mechanism, not a character flaw. Your mind essentially says, "We don't have the resources to fully feel right now, so we're turning the volume down on everything." This is a critical sign to catch early because it's often mistaken for depression, apathy, or just going through a phase, when really it's exhaustion asking to be addressed before it deepens into something harder to reverse. The fourth sign, your emotional reactions feel bigger than the situation calls for. A dropped glass, a minor comment, a small inconvenience, and suddenly you're irritated, tearful, or overwhelmed in a way that surprises even you. This happens because emotional regulation itself takes energy. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for staying calm, thinking clearly, and managing reactions, needs adequate rest and resources to do its job. When you're running on emotional empty, that regulation system weakens, and smaller triggers can access a much bigger, unprocessed backlog of stress that was never fully released. You're not overreacting to the glass. You're reacting to everything that's been building underneath it. The fifth and most telling sign Even when you finally get time off, it doesn't feel like enough. You sleep in, you take the day off, and you still wake up feeling just as drained as before. This is because physical rest and emotional recovery are not the same thing. Sleep restores your body. It doesn't automatically process unresolved emotions, unspoken feelings, or lingering stress. You can be well rested and still emotionally depleted because the thing that's exhausted was never your body in the first place. It was your capacity to keep holding everything you haven't let yourself feel. This is usually the moment people realize, I don't need a nap. I need to actually deal with what I've been avoiding. If you recognized yourself in even 2 or 3 of these signs, this isn't a discipline problem, and it's definitely not laziness. Your mind has been running on a deficit for a while, and it's finally asking you to notice. The fix isn't forcing yourself to push through with more willpower. That usually makes it worse. It's giving yourself actual recovery, fewer obligations where possible, honest conversations about what's been weighing on you, and permission to rest without earning it first. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just tired in a way that rest alone hasn't been able to reach yet. And now that you know why, you can finally start addressing the real thing instead of blaming yourself for it. If this explains something you've been feeling, subscribe. Every week, we break down what's actually happening in your mind, not just surface level advice.